What companies need to commit to are mechanisms that enable feedback that guides their own behavior. So they have to commit to an action, but they also need to commit to a way of measuring the efficacy and effectiveness of that action. That's why in a lot of my research, I focused on how do we get organizations to do experiments. And the clever, albeit obvious insight that I had was, geez, organizations don't want to spend a lot of time and money on experiments because it costs too much. So how do you design really, really fast, really, really cheap experiments around hypotheses that matter to them? How do we transform the economics of experimentation so that it becomes a marginal cost rather than a variable cost for them? This turns out to work really, really well. This turns out to work really, really well because we now have technologies and tools that make the cost of experimentation cheap. Everybody has a mobile device now. 15 years ago, not the case. But market research people, retailers, have the greatest subsidy in the history of markets. Everybody is walking into their stores with a computer now. It's remarkable. How do you leverage that? Okay, how come more stores, just to give you an obvious, simple, cheap experiment, how come more stores don't have a place that you go to take a picture on your phone for a UPC code to get a coupon? Come to this aisle, get a coupon. How many people will take advantage of that? How many people won't? Can you motivate people to do a different kind of in-store couponing and discount with the phones they're bringing into the store? Right? Simple, obvious experiment. Wouldn't be expensive to do in a couple of selected stores. It's challenging to get people to think that way. Why? Because most people think of their stores as a place where they're selling stuff, not as a laboratory for doing experiments. Companies like Google and Amazon, the so-called born digital companies, they have grown up recognizing that their strength comes not just from their ability to process a lot of transactions, but from their ability to treat their servers and their networks as laboratories. The paradigm shift that I observe in innovation that's occurred in the last decade is the shift from R&D, research and development, to E&S, experiment and scale. What do networks allow you to do? Networks allow you to take something that you've tested with 100 people or 1,000 people and scale it to 10,000, 100,000, a million, 100 million people at a marginal cost. Wow, wow, wow. And that's why I believe the opportunities for accelerating the quality and quantity of innovation is being transformed. And that's why you need to give more thought to questions like not what's the newest and coolest innovation we can come up with, but who do we want our customers to become? How do we get them to participate and be partners in this value creation process and opportunity?